Hello again, it's University of Queensland and my name is Christina. We'll continue getting acquainted with Grasshopper. Um, let's see what else can we do with that. Let's go to Grasshopper params and get a point from here. Now let's create a point in Rhinoceros and that's connected to Rhino. You know how to do it. Set one point. Here it is. Now we have our point set. What would we like to do next? Let's create a box. To do that, we go to Surface, Primitive, and we can choose type of box we want. I want center box. As you see, we can center box. We can put this component and it creates the box automatically in the beginning of X and Y axis of Rhino, but we don't want that. We want our box to be set with its center on the point. So that's when we link point that we chose, this point, to this parameter here is base plane. Here you see how our box just jumped into here. Now it's connected to the point. And if we move the point in Rhino, it moves together with the box linked to it in Grasshopper. What next? It requires additional data that will define the properties of the box. Size of the box in X direction, in Y direction, and in Z direction. We need to input the numbers and we are doing it using sliders. Number slider is this one. We could also use integer number or we could use just number, but this option is easier. You can take a number slider from here and just drop it. Or you can double click on your canvas and just enter number you want. I want 7, just because I can. Let's have one more slider here. Let's say 0.8. Yeah. Then we need to connect these numbers here to input of center box. As you can see here, when the sliders are not connected to anything, they're just called sliders. While this one that we connected to the X input is called X. So it automatically sets another name for you, so it's easier for you to understand what is where when you have multiple data input. Now it's quite funny because it's quite narrow and I want to make it larger. I can't because the maximum is 1 because it was set automatically. How to change it? Double click on the left side. And here we have all the options how to operate the number. We can set amount of digits after point, like floating numbers. It can be integer number, even number, odd number. We can set minimum or maximum, so our slider will start with 0, 4, maybe. Sorry, digits. 0, 4. Yes. And not this one. It says 0, 4 here. Okay, and here we want it up to 20. I don't know why, we just do. So it starts from 0, 4 and can be controlled like that. Height is too low, I don't want that. I want it to be, let's say 20 as well. Here. Now let's try something else. And what else? Let's try to do a cylinder the same way we did. We made the box. Point, set, and done. Surface, primitive, cylinder. Again, cylinder appears in the beginning of the coordinates, which could be there, but we We have the point, so we're using it. And you can see that input here is slightly different from what we had in box, because obviously cylinders have different parameters rather than box. It has height and it has a radius. We can either introduce them by clicking to slider and inputting data, or just in case if we want to, we can just connect it here. Now if we change this slider, it affects the height of cylinder and the height of box. We don't have to do that, we can disconnect them and just make something else so that they can be controlled independently. Something is not completely right with this cylinder. It's not capped, it's empty. To cap it, we can go to surface, util, and cap holes. So we're taking our input one step further, and now our cylinder is the input for this command. So we connect them, and here we go. You can probably spot that this part of the cylinder is a bit darker than it used to be. It happens because it's double geometry. It's this one plus this one. So basically, if we enable disable preview of this part, we can still see the whole cylinder because this is the whole geometry here. You'll probably start using it on the other point of your design when you need to hide something. Let's now try to do, for example, cone using the same parameters as we used for our cylinder. We don't see it. Why? I know it's here, I know it's somewhere here, so I'm just gonna click it. You see, I click it, it's here, but I can't see it. It's because it's behind my geometry of the cap holes. To see it, I need to switch it off, to disable the preview, and here we see it, here we see it. That's why sometimes if you have one geometry inside the other geometry, you need to switch something off. Here is the cone. We don't really need that. It's empty again. So let's do the same we did for the cylinder. Nothing changes. Why? Because the preview is disabled here. That's why we can't see it. Middle button click, enable preview, voila. And to get rid of excess geometries, we can just switch off. One more thing we would probably try doing. Let's play a bit more with points. So we just connected our points with the lines here and created just lines between the points. What else could we do? Let's go to curve, primitive, and let's create maybe an arc, maybe a 3 points arc. We have 3 points, let's use them. So here is an arc, and it requires input of 3 points. Start point of the arc, point on arc, and point of arc. And we have 3 points luckily. So let's just connect them to this arc too. What happened? Now we have this arc in our Rhino, which is connected to these 3 points as well as the lines. So lines are here. And here we have the arc. What else? Let's create a polygon, and maybe let's create it from here. Why not? What stops us? Basically nothing. So it's curve, primitive. Polygon is quite an often used tool in design. We usually start with that to do some basic shapes, especially in architecture. You'll get there. I want it to be here, and I don't want to see my box because it kind of blocks my polygon a bit, because polygon is here and the box is here. So I will just disable the preview and have just my polygon. It requires additional data input: radius, number of segments, and corner fillet radius. So I want to connect it this way. So the radius is 11, number of sides is 7, and if I operate it, it can change. And then let's say this parameter will be my round radius of fillet, which is like too much now. I want it a bit sharper. No, maybe like that. Here we go. So everything is now controlled parametrically.